Biden will meet with Xi for a summit within a summit on Wednesday, with the White House framing the meeting as an opportunity to strengthen open lines of communication and managing competition between the world's largest economies in a manner that does not veer into conflict.
The way we achieve that is through intense diplomacy. That's how we clear up misperceptions and avoid surprises. That's how we work together where and when our interests overlap and deliver on key priorities for the American people. And that's why in recent months, I've had the opportunity to meet with Director Wang Yi 3 times, and it's why our Secretaries of State, Treasury, and Commerce all went to Beijing. It's also why China, for its part, sent its Vice President, its Foreign Minister, and other senior officials here to the United States in recent months.
Focus areas include managing economic competition and trade disputes, reopening direct military-to-military lines of communication, which were suspended after former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan last year, relations souring further after the U.S. shot down what it believed was a Chinese spy balloon in February. Geopolitical tensions from the war in Ukraine to the war in Gaza also on the agenda. Additionally, joint efforts to combat the illicit trafficking in fentanyl, a deadly synthetic opioid, is a key priority for the White House, with over 250,000 Americans dying from fentanyl overdoses since 2018.
We believe that there are areas where our interests overlap, like our efforts to combat the illicit fentanyl trade. There are also areas where we can more effectively manage competition, for example, by reestablishing military-to-military communications. And there are, of course, critical global issues that the two leaders will need to discuss, including Russia's war against Ukraine and the evolving crisis in the Middle East. All in all, we're looking forward to a productive meeting. President Biden has a long history with President Xi. Their conversations are direct, they're straightforward, and President Biden believes that there is no substitute for leader-to-leader, face-to-face diplomacy to manage this complex relationship between the United States and China.
And with real concerns of a spillover from the Hamas-Israeli conflict in the Middle East, the U.S. is seeking to press China's influence on key actors in that regard.
From our perspective, the PRC should share the interest of every responsible country that de-escalation rather than escalation in the broader Middle East should be the order of the day. So President Biden will make the point to President Xi that Iran acting in an escalatory, destabilizing way that undermines stability across the broader Middle East is not in the interests of the PRC or of any other responsible country. And the PRC, of course, has a relationship with Iran, and it's capable, if it chooses to, of making those points directly to the Iranian government.
China, for its part, pointed to talks that would be focused on issues of strategic importance, including on development and world peace.
China has viewed and handled the relations with the U.S. under the principles of mutual respect, peaceful coexistence, and win-win cooperation proposed by President Xi Jinping. Major power competition goes against the trend of the times and cannot solve the problems facing the U.S. and the challenges facing the world. China is not afraid of competition, but we do oppose defining the China-U.S. relationship by competition. When it comes to concerns, the U.S. should earnestly respect China's legitimate concerns and legitimate right to development, instead of only emphasizing its own concerns and undermining China's interests.
The APEC Leaders Summit runs from Wednesday through Friday, focused on creating economic opportunity for the 21-nation bloc in the Asia-Pacific region. Sherman Ricebees, SABC News, New York.